Namaste. Welcome to another edition of lecture as part of the Diaspora Diaries, which is being held as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the 75th Independence Day celebrations being held at the Embassy of India, Hungary, Budapest. Today, it is indeed a privilege to be here, to be invited to talk on this occasion and about a topic that is very close to my heart, festivals of India. अब आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव नाम दिया गया है, तो then the lecture series will not be complete without talking about the festivals of India. This is why I have picked this topic, and I wish to give you some background about the seasonal festivals in India, that too from different parts of India. You may come across festivals that you already know, and there might be festivals that are completely new for you. I am going to, in fact, use the word mention because given the wide range and scope of festivals in India, this is the only thing that is possible, is just a mention of these festivals rather than elaborating about how they are celebrated. Of course, I will say that too. Being an agrarian country and depending on agriculture for its economy, we as a country have always depended on nature since time immemorial. And what can be more significant than harvest festivals and festivals worshipping the nature that follow the seasons? In a second, so here, let's talk about the seasons first. Though we match them with the solar calendar, lunar months begin around the 15th of the solar month. Hence, the seasons are split in the same way. And you can see how there are 6 seasons. And though these are not pronounced in many parts, you don't see them very pronounced in many parts of India. For example, Sharad Ritu, the autumn season, from where I come from, it's generally monsoon, and then you have hotter weather and colder weather. But still, there are several parts of India where you can see these pronounced. But this classification helps for today's purpose. In fact, I am a person who gets excited when festival seasons come around. And living in Europe for 20 years now has given me an immense advantage when it comes to regional festivals. I've had a chance to meet and interact with my country people from many different states of India and be a part of their celebrations, which I doubt I could have if I had been back home, given the vast size of the country. Since we are in August, let's start with that festival rather than January, and with the celebrations we had most recently in the past months, and of course, as recent as this past weekend. And the festivals that we celebrate in India can amount to several hours of lecture, as I mentioned before. But since time is limited, I will focus on a few that have touched me the most, or ones that are lesser known, with specific focus on seasons or harvest. The most recent ones that we celebrated in Varsha Ritu, the monsoon season, Savan, or Adi as we call it in Tamil, are festivals of rain, celebrating the monsoon or water. Tej, which I found out here, a celebration in the northern and western parts of India, celebrates the bounty of nature, welcoming the rains and greenery that follows after the hot summer. Women apply mehendi, henna, get together and celebrate with songs and dances and pray to Lord Shiva. Though religious aspects do come in to nearly every celebration, this festival primarily offers prayers for a good harvest, praying to the god, whichever god it is, to bless the people with a good bounty. Down south, in fact, we do the same in Tamil Nadu on the 18th day of Adi, same as Savan. Prayers are held for all water bodies, thanking the nature for the gift of rain and water. And the most special part of this festival that I believe is unusual is the feast that is prepared. And it is unusual because it is variety rice, like lemon rice, coconut rice, tamarind rice, etc. And it is beautiful to see the water bodies being worshipped. Personally, for me, though, the most significant festival of the month is Onam, the one that I grew up with, mainly because it was holidays, school holidays, of course, a 10-day holiday, but also because I get to swing. I get to swing on swings, and of course to put floral patterns in front of the house for 10 days. And this is also a festival signifying bounty of nature, flowers. In Kerala, the southern state, by the time Onam comes around to welcome the demon king, I know, right? The demon king, Mahabali or Maveli, the rains are almost gone. The nature is green. There hopefully has been a good harvest. And the story associated with that is that the benevolent king comes to visit his people and to ensure that they are happy. And to welcome him, people get ready by making floral patterns called Attapookalam for 10 days leading up to his arrival. On the day of his visit, the Tiruvonam day, clay statues denoting Vishnu are decorated along with the biggest Pookalam and a feast fit for the king, the unforgettable Sadhya. Now, Onam, of course, is a festival that I have grown up with and I've experienced. But then, Nuakhai, this lesser-known festival, celebrated the day after Ganesh Chaturthi in the eastern state of Odisha and parts of Jharkhand, is also celebrating the harvest. And they are marked by festivities lasting the whole month to celebrate it. The concept behind the festival is very similar to Onam and celebrates the bountiful harvest obtained. Interestingly, a lot of traditions that I found and rituals surrounding Nuakhai is very similar to Onam. Of course, August, end of August, beginning of September, arrives with a bevy of other festivals like Janmashtami, celebrating the birth of Lord Krishna, Ganesh Chaturthi, a festival that must be experienced in the western state of Maharashtra, and Raksha Bandhan, of course, this special festival that celebrates the bond between a brother and sister in the northern and western states of India. And of course, the Varalakshmi Vrat, a fast observed by women in the southern states of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, and Karnataka. Of course, I could go on more about the Varsha Ritu, but then we have the Sharad Ritu. Again, it would start from about mid-September, ending with October, November, going into November. This is the autumn time in India. But then, this is also a very special time that it is not as marked as in the Western countries, the colorful autumn, but we make it colorful with our festivals. With the milder weather comes Diwali or Deepavali, actually before that, Navratri, a widely celebrated festival that has connotations in different parts of India, different connotations. In the northeastern and eastern states, Ma Durga takes the limelight in this season, and huge pandals are set up for the festivities lasting several weeks. In the north, this is again a festival of the goddess and lasts for 9 days, as in the south. In fact, on Dasera, the 10th day, which is also called as Vijayadashami, the 10th day of victory, the fully lit Mysore palace is a sight to behold. If you, of course, want to join more energetic festivities, you should head to Gujarat, where there are Dandiya and Garba dances for the 10 days of Navratri. But again, a lesser known festival that comes with this, celebrated in the late autumn season in the states of West Bengal, Tripura, and Barak Valley, is the Nabanna or Nobanno festival, and the literal translation is new rice, which indicates the new harvest. And it's apparently one of the biggest festivals of this region. This season definitely seems to involve women in more celebrations. I'm, of course, talking about the fast that the women in the northern and western parts of the country observe for the long life of their husbands, Karwa Chauth, which has been immortalized by Bollywood, of course. I have been fortunate to observe the rituals of the story recitation and female camaraderie surrounding this festival, and I do look forward to it each year. Now, of course, we have November and December and the Hemant Ritu. This is the pre-winter season, a milder season in many parts of the country, and in my opinion, the best time to visit. The monsoon is over, the heat is also over, and we have the Festival of Lights that lights up the country. This is one of those festivals that does not require a lengthy explanation, as it is one of the most well-known, if not the most well-known festivals of India. However, in the southern states of India, this festival is celebrated for commemorating the killing of the demon Naraka by Lord Krishna, and is much shorter in length as compared to the other parts of India where it's celebrated. And the celebrations are mostly in the morning and the day before in the evening. While we are in the south, a mention must be made of Kartigai Deepam or Trikkartigai, which are celebrated in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, which is actually the festival of lights in these parts and is celebrated for Kartikeya, the son of Lord Shiva. And it falls on the full moon day after Deepavali. This festival has an additional significance in some communities in the south, as it is similar to Raksha Bandhan and celebrates the bond between brothers and sisters. This season, in fact, this was almost an astounding discovery for me when I was looking up these festivals. The Chhath festival in Bihar, which offers prayers to Chhati Maiya, is a 6-day celebration and very similar to the celebration that is held in the southern state of Tamil Nadu, which you have Skanda Shashti that is celebrated for 6 days. And here in Bihar, it's also called as Surya Shashti, which offers prayers to Lord Surya, no idol worship, just to Lord Surya for a good harvest. And this is the biggest celebration of Bihar. This mild weather is, of course, the time when the Kutch Ran Utsav is celebrated. Festivities there last for 2 months, all the way up to the end of the winter season. And this is a sight to behold, with all of those colorful tents pitched against the white of the Ran of Kutch in Gujarat. Hornbill Festival is as interesting as it sounds. This is called as the Festival of Festivals in Nagaland, an eastern state of India, and brings together many different art forms under one roof in Kohima and lasts 10 days. And then there is, of course, a general lull in the Hindu festival calendar after Diwali, but then this is when we celebrate Christmas in India with all its pomp and splendor. Now, for Shishir Ritu. Again, I have been part of several of these celebrations, even in Budapest and in Geneva. If you look at the pictures, you can see the colorful Lori being celebrated. One might assume that the cold weather, the winter weather, would deter people from festivities. But many regions of the subcontinent, in many regions, the winter is quite mild, and people would much rather spend time preparing for the return of beautiful spring and plentiful harvests. Even in the colder regions, harvest festivals are celebrated. For example, Lori in Punjab. Dance and music liven up the festival, and bonfires are lit. In fact, a common thread connecting all festivals celebrated in this season are the bonfires, be it Pongal in Tamil Nadu, Bihu in Assam, Makar Sankranti in the western states. This could be for burning the old and welcoming the new, as in Pongal, or to reignite the festival of longer days in Punjab. These festivals denote the return of longer days and marks the passing of winter solstice. Feasts, of course, are an inevitable part of any celebration in India, and offerings here are made to the sun god in many regions. Very interesting was also the parallels that I could see between Bihu Mag and the Pongal, which was the bullfight or the bull race. So in Bihu Mag, they have bullfights, whereas in Pongal, they have races in Tamil Nadu. India is a country that always has given a lot of respect and importance to gurus or teachers. Basant Panchami is also celebrated in this season towards the end of the winter season. Along with praying to the goddess of knowledge, people wear yellow, they have special celebrations. This is also a time for fun and frolic and the celebration of return of good weather in the states of Rajasthan and Gujarat by holding kite festivals. Even in the picture, you can see some kites next to Tilgol. So people actually, the food made is also to give you some warmth, but the kite festival in Rajasthan and Gujarat, you have to be part of it to actually experience the real feel. From the colors of kites to the most colorful season, spring or the Vasant Ritu. In many states of India, this is also the lunar new year, like Yugadi, for example, for the states of Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana, or Vishu for Kerala, or Varshaparappa in Tamil Nadu. For me in Kerala, a special arrangements of fruits, yellow flowers, and mirrors, this setup, that has been very special for me always because this signifies good fortune. As soon as you wake up in the morning of the day of Vishu, this is what you see. And this is believed to bring good luck throughout the year. In all these states, again, feasts are made. People visit each other. In fact, in Punjab, Baisakhi or Vaishakhi has similar connotations and is celebrated with equal fervor as in Himachal Pradesh, Jammu, Uttar Pradesh, and Nepal. This is known by the name Gudi Padwa in Maharashtra, and decorated copper or silver pots at the end of bamboo sticks are a common sight in front of every house, and this signifies victory. In many of these celebrations, the foods also include something bitter to indicate the mixture of good and bad in life and to take it in an equal way. And the relevance of these festivals are also tied to the harvest season. This is called Bagodia in Madhya Pradesh and also in Bihar, and is actually celebrated for 7 days before Holi, the festival of colors. There are several mythological stories surrounding Holi involving different Hindu gods and with the demoness Holika. Whatever the story behind it, this is one festival that is looked forward to as it signifies the happiness that arrives with spring and the harvest that comes with it. Though it was popular in the Western and Northern states traditionally, Now it is celebrated throughout India and also abroad with equal fervor. Now, for the Grishma Ritu. One might think that this is a season the hot season, when there are few festivals held. But then we have to keep in mind the colder regions of the country and certain regions also that have very strong monsoons. This is the time for festivities in the state of Shimla and the influx of tourists into the state to witness the folk dance, shows, and music. It's called as the Shimla Summer Festival. Whereas in Sikkim, in the eastern part of India, Sagadawa is celebrated to remember Buddha, and the festivities last for a month. Earlier in this lecture, we talked about some festivals celebrating water bodies. 2 more such festivals come in this season. They are called as Sindhu Darshan Festival and the Ganga Dasera. The Sindhu Darshan is in the picturesque Ladakh Valley in the banks of the Sindhu River. And the Ganga Dasera, the day, this is believed to be the day, this is celebrated on the day that is believed that Ganga came down to earth from heaven, and it's celebrated along the banks of Ganga in places like Varanasi, Rishikesh, and Haridwar. And along with the arati that you see usually, there are special aratis held on this day. Talking about water, this was one festival that I found very interesting and possibly would like to experience, which I have not been able to hear. The festival of San João, or the feast of Saint John the Baptist in Goa. This festival sees men jumping into wells, ponds, and rivers as part of the festivities, and you can see how colorful it is from the picture. In fact, women wear hats which are decorated with fruits, and it is the feast for Saint John the Baptist. No summer festival is complete without the mention of the king of fruits, mango. The Mango Festival held in Delhi by the Ministry of Tourism in India has gained so much popularity that people get to experience many different kinds of mango there. And of course, I am mentioning this to indicate the bountiful harvest of mangoes during this season in summer. As I mentioned before at the start, a lecture on Indian festivals could last several days. We have several tribal festivals that are little known, but for us, however, time is limited. I hope I was able to give you a very short preview to the relation between seasons and festivals in the country. The purpose of festivals, whatever the reason to celebrate it, is to bring people and communities together. All of these festivals do that and have succeeded in keeping us together as a nation, giving us an identity. In fact, even here in Budapest, it has managed to do that, as witnessed in the most recent festivals and also in the Independence Day celebrations. If you wish to get a first-hand experience of Onam, please join us live on the Embassy of India in Hungary Facebook Live on Saturday, the 29th of August from 11:30 a.m. I thank you all for joining me in the lecture today. I would like to thank the Embassy of India in Hungary, and in particular Ms. Tanuja Shankar, the director of ASSC, for giving me this opportunity and to give you some insight into the festivals of India. Jai Hind.